It was Christmas Eve, 1971. The Peruvian Amazon stretched endlessly below, an ocean of green that seemed eternal, impenetrable, and indifferent. High above its canopy, Lanceflight 508, a Lockheed Electra turboprop, cruised steadily from Lima to the jungle town of Pucallpa. Families whispered holiday wishes, lovers leaned on each other's shoulders, and a 17-year-old schoolgirl named Juliane Koepcke stared out the window. She wasn't just any passenger. She was the daughter of two German scientists-biologists who had built their lives in Peru and raised Juliane in the wild rhythm of the rainforest. While others saw a suffocating jungle of mystery and danger, she saw a living library her parents had taught her to read. The sky outside was turning dangerous. Dark, towering clouds rose like walls, thunder rolling through them with a voice that promised nothing gentle. The aircraft pressed forward. Inside, the mood wavered between unease and hope that the storm would pass. Then came the violence, turbulence that snapped trays from hands, lightning that lit up the cabin in ghostly flashes, engines straining against a sky gone hostile. Passengers gripped their seats, whispered prayers, and clung to loved ones. At 10,000 feet above the unforgiving canopy, lightning struck the aircraft. A roar, a blinding flash, and then the tearing sound of a plane ripping apart. The fuselage broke mid-air. Metal screamed, luggage burst into the void, and in seconds, the holiday flight became a scatter of debris across the night sky. Juliane, still strapped to her row of seats, was flung out into the storm. Imagine it, a teenage girl plummeting alone, 2 miles above the earth, spinning through clouds and rain. The jungle below rising like a wall of green teeth. The impact should have been certain death. Yet, by a convergence of physics and fate, the row of seats stumbled like a parachute, slowing her descent just enough. The jungle canopy broke her fall, branches clawing at her body, cushioning and lacerating at once. When she opened her eyes, the silence was total. Her collarbone was broken. One eye swollen shut, her arms and legs slashed with deep wounds. She could not move her right foot properly. Around her, there were no voices, no signs of her mother who had been seated beside her on the plane, no sound but the distant thrum of insects and the endless drip of rain. She was alive utterly alone, 17 years old, stranded in one of the most hostile environments on Earth. Here began her conflict. Survival in the jungle was not a matter of bravery alone. It was a crucible of knowledge, endurance, and sheer willpower. With no food, no map, no companions, Juliane clung to a single piece of training her parents had taught her: the rules of the rainforest. Follow water, streams become creeks, creeks become rivers, and rivers eventually lead to people. So, with a fractured body and only one sandal, Juliane rose from the wreckage, gritted her teeth, and began to walk into the jungle's maw, searching for life in a place that had just swallowed nearly everyone she loved. Juliane Koepcke stumbled through the jungle as if moving inside a nightmare. Her wounds burned in the humid air, insects swarmed at the smell of blood, and each step sent pain surging up her fractured collarbone. Yet she remembered her parents' words: "The rainforest is not out to kill you. If you respect it, it can guide you." Those words became her compass. She found a small stream and began to follow it. Each day blurred into the next, waking under dripping leaves, staggering through waist-deep water, and sleeping curled beneath makeshift shelters of branches. She had no food beyond a single piece of candy salvaged from the wreckage, and her thirst was quenched only by the brown water she cupped from streams. Hunger gnawed, but worse. Was the silence no voices, no rescue? She heard planes overhead, search parties combing the area, but the canopy was so thick that even as they passed above, she was invisible to them. Her wounds festered, maggots writhed inside an open gash on her arm, and though it revolted her, she remembered her father's lessons. Maggots eat only dead flesh, keeping wounds clean. She allowed them to stay, that knowledge may have saved her life, but what no amount of preparation could steel her against was the loneliness. At night, the jungle came alive with sounds: howler monkeys crying like tortured souls, insects droning, unseen things shifting in the underbrush. The rainforest was both ally and tormentor, sheltering her with its streams while reminding her at every step how small, how breakable she was. Days stretched into an ordeal of endurance. On the 9th day, weakened and delirious, Juliane found the wreckage of another section of the plane. Bodies were scattered around it, passengers still strapped to their seats. Among them, she thought she recognized her mother. She stood frozen, tears mixing with rain, until survival instinct pulled her away. She could not bury them. She could only walk. By the 11th day, Juliane's strength was nearly gone. Her skin was blistered by insect bites, her eyes swollen, her body ravaged by exhaustion. Yet along the riverbank, she stumbled upon a small hut. Inside lay tools and a jug of gasoline. The gasoline burned when she poured it over her infected wound, but it killed the maggots instantly. That act, as agonizing as it was, became her turning point. Not long after, local loggers discovered her. A girl, gaunt and bloodied, staggering barefoot from the forest, her clothes in tatters. Her eyes wild but alive. They carried her by canoe to safety. Against every law of probability, Juliane Koepcke had survived a fall from the sky in 11 days in the jungle. Out of 92 passengers, she was the only one to live. In the years that followed, Juliane pursued her parents' path, becoming a biologist and returning to the rainforest that nearly claimed her life. She faced it not with fear, but with respect, carrying the memory of her ordeal like a scar that spoke. Reflection. Juliane's story is more than survival. It is a testament to the strange pact between human will and nature's indifference. It forces us to ask, how much of life is chance and how much is courage? When everything shatters, what remains is the human instinct to endure, to keep moving forward, even into the heart of the unknown.